Hello. All right. I think I've got everything. Hello, my name is Andy, or my name is Andrew, actually. Sorry. Um, actually answered above, but my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I am the moderator often, or I am the moderator of the Do Nothing Project and sometimes guest host. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach in the Unified Mindfulness System. And big thank you to a few people that are here for the first time. Great to see Ruth and Trisha and Fred. Welcome back. And Bill Joseph, first time. Thank you for coming out. Malcolm, hello. Bonjour, Paul. And then I think there's probably maybe there's 2 or 3 people that. Oh, hello, Suzanne. Oh, the Instagram reminder. Excellent. Okay. My significant other was pointing out that I probably should do the Instagram reminder Tuesday and then a few hours before. But that's great. Yeah. Yesterday was Halloween. Today on the traditional Catholic or the Roman Catholic calendar, this used to be All Hallows Day, which I believe is how the Halloween name came about, because it was the eve of Hallows Eve. So today's All Hallows is now renamed on the liturgical calendar, I believe, as All Saints Day, and then tomorrow is All Souls Day. So I don't think Saban is here, but I live in the American Southwest, and All Souls Day is a huge deal. There's the All Souls procession and Dia de los Muertos, and folks that'll have an ofrenda that is it's a table with all of the pictures of the members of the family and friends that have died. And so today I was thinking it'd be kind of interesting to do. And again, you're always welcome to do whatever you'd like. You can show up and chat and just kind of let me and my guidance be in the background. But I thought it'd be interesting to do a little bit of a friendliness practice that was kind of a bit of an all Saints Day sort of thing, and then shift to All Souls, and then we'll finish. There's a 25-minute sit, and we'll finish with 5 minutes and nothing. That was what I was going for. And again, if you have your own practice and you're here as I know there's a couple of people that watch this, and it's a little bit of it's part of their kind of a practice accountability. So they know that this is the spot to be, and they know if they're here, then they'll actually get their meditation in for the day. So if that's you, excellent. But yeah, I haven't thought to do this in the past, but my family was my father was very adamant about making it not only to All Saints Day, but also to All Souls Day. And so we didn't have a tradition like in the Southwest, where a lot of folks will go and they'll be cleaning off headstones and graves, and they'll decorate headstones and things. And like I mentioned, the ofrenda, but always something kind of in the forefront. So that's the plan. Like I said, it'll be 25 minutes. We're starting about 20 minutes past the hour. So that's the area code of Tucson for me, 520. And I've got 25 minutes on the clock. Thank you, as always, to Jeff Groves, who reminded me that if you have your phone on airplane mode, it won't make weird noises while you're recording. And then if you have any questions, comments, you can always put those, or reports, you can put those in chat afterwards. I usually remember to say this, but I will type this in over here. There is an email reminder that I send out, not always, but an email reminder that I'm sending out, and I'm trying to send out on Sunday or Monday. And then I've been trying to post day of reminders, as Fred pointed out, on Instagram, and that the Instagram handle is just leonards.coaching. So there's that. And then, as Ruth will point out at some point, it's always helpful if you like. You can always share how you're feeling about things with a hitting the thumbs up. But yeah, so if you email me, I'll add you to the list. If you're not getting those emails, you can just do that. Right now, it's just a self-managed list. There's about 35 of us on there, so I don't need any software. And what I'll probably do is I'll just do it as a self-managed list until we hit the limit. So yeah, okay, great. I'm so happy that Gabrielle, you're able to make it tonight. Um, so for Gabrielle, there's probably about six people that would show up. But I used to do a middle of the day sit in 2020, at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. And then when I started my new job, I wasn't able to do that anymore. But I always appreciate that Gabrielle was part of that group that was doing the afternoon sits. So, all right. So if you aren't already, it would be good to begin the process of settling in. I'll go ahead and ring the bell to signal the start of our sit together and ring the bell at the end. So on some days I need to remind myself of this more than others, but if you made it to the cushion, that is really the criteria for quote unquote good sit. So right now you've already achieved a good sit. So again, you could be meditating in standing posture, you could be walking, you could be lying down, or you could be seated. And I'll focus mainly on instructions around either seated in a chair or seated in a cushion. And if you can, just find being uptight. And really what we're looking for is that sometimes we'll raise the chest and we're kind of like efforting. We're sort of holding ourselves there. Just seeing if we can notice that. And again, no condemnation, just notice it and then settle in a little bit. You may feel the sort of balance of the torso on the sits bones, just finding a comfortable way of sitting. Arranging the feet in a way that's helpful for kind of being as still as possible. You don't have to be a statue, but allowing the body to be still is one way to kind of help encourage or nudge the mind towards stillness. And then just kind of checking in and seeing what's here already. At the end of a day, might be a little bit of tension. So just noticing the tension. We're not trying to scare away the tension. We're just noticing it. And then noticing we might see that the tension releases. And if it doesn't, it's our first opportunity to bring a no big deal attitude. Very accepting. And then a few deliberate breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly, and breathing low into the belly allows us to then breathe slow as we exhale. So slow and low is the tempo we're looking for. And just pausing for a moment, just settling in. As Jeff says, with each breath, we're arriving a little bit more. And we'll work with a significantly loose definition of saint. So I'll start out with a few saints that I know are saints, at least from the Catholic faith. But we'll expand that. And so just bringing to mind maybe someone who you admire their faith and determination. And maybe offering a few phrases like, knowing you helps me be a better person, or thank you for being an inspiration. And I'm named after two saints, so Jonathan and Andrew are the two that come to mind for me. And again, just sort of working with the phrases in a way that fits. And thank you is also a complete sentence, so we could offer that as well. And if there's someone that comes to mind that you think of when you hear the word devotion, bringing to mind that person and pausing a moment, just seeing if there's any phrase that you feel like offering. Thank you for your example. Thank you for inspiring me. And you can vary the pace and say the phrases fast or slow, in between. And if there's a visual that you can bring to mind as you're offering the phrases, sometimes that can enrich the experience. Hand on the chest is another way to enrich the experience. Maybe there's a character from a fable or a story that you've grown up hearing. Bringing that individual to mind. Maybe connecting with that individual as kind of the notion of an archetype. Maybe there's a seeker that comes to mind. And offering a few phrases, again, whatever fits. And if nothing really comes to mind, thank you is a viable option. Finding a pleasing pace for the repetition of the phrases. May you know what a source of inspiration you are. Or thank you for inspiring me. You can stay with the same person or the same character, or you can move to maybe a figure that is related to more, maybe more in the Buddhist vein if you are so inclined. Maybe there's a bodhisattva that you've heard stories about, or there's a protector deity that's been helpful. Or maybe there's a story of devotion in someone who is not a saint. And bringing that individual to mind. Again, really just affirming or offering acknowledgments, gratitude. May you know the impact that you've had on my life. And then pausing and seeing if there's any communities as a whole that, whether it's a community growing up or a faith community that you were part of at an early age, maybe even a community based on your profession. What would have been a guild in older times, or any community that you feel like you've been supported. Again, choosing phrases that fit. May you know how welcoming you were. May you all know how much I appreciate your time and listening. And if you want to hold the community as a whole in your mind and offer the phrases, that's definitely one way to approach it. But if it's a community that you're familiar with particular faces, maybe that's a way to make the offering more vivid. Choosing a pace, a repetition that is pleasing. If the phrase feels clumsy and there's a word that you feel like is one that communicates everything, you can usually repeat just that word and you can feel a bit of the offering in a single word. And expanding our view into the whole community, from that community to the whole of our term, we would say all souls from a sort of Catholic lens, but let's say all sentient beings. So each and every one of us here tonight, and the dog that's outside my window barking, all of those sentient beings offering gratitude, finding some phrases maybe that help. And you know that your seeking is an inspiration. You know what you're looking for, I'm looking for too. Or maybe acknowledging their effort day to day. So each day, the effort you put in is an inspiration. And even if you want to flash on a few faces that come to mind, offering a sort of mental nod in their direction, knowing that they'll know what you mean. Or we can shift now that our focus is so large. May you be happy. May all beings be happy. May you find what you seek. Or a more seafaring good offering is, may there be fair winds at your back and safe travels. And finally, putting that all down and just sitting. So, an opportunity to just be here now and sit with no more phrases. May any merit generated in all sentient beings outside the house or outside. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for coming on a Sunday or Saturday or no, this isn't Sunday. Thank you for calling or for coming on a Wednesday and some somewhat non-traditional day. So yeah, if you have any reports, questions, comments, that's great. I'm glad to hear that, Ruth. I was a little worried. I had a very Sunday school moment of trying to think of who my inspiring saints were. So yeah. Thanks so much for the 7 folks that have hit the thumbs up on that. Oh, that's great to hear, Fred. You're incredibly welcome, Bill and Trisha. If you didn't get an email this week and you're on the mailing list, let me know. You can message me on Instagram. That would be one way to do it too. If you don't think email is working. So awesome, Paul. That's great to hear. I find that there are so many folks that so when you go through catechism, at least, or the way that it was when I was a kid, they talk a little bit about kind of like what it takes to be a saint, and so that's a big deal. And so if you take that down, though, there's so many people that would qualify as like saints in your life. I think that's a really cool way of trying to think a little bit about it, because it could be the librarian or bus driver, folks like that, that may not pop out in the sort of standard way that a lot of folks might look at things. So I've been listening to the audiobooks for Bruce Feiler's 2 books. Bruce Feiler was on 10% Happier recently for his book called The Search, but he had also done a book called Life is in the Transitions that came out of all times during the pandemic. Oh, that's excellent that your Thursday is going very well, Malcolm. And so, in Bruce Feiler's books, he talks a bit about these pivotal people within folks' lives for life is in the transitions, and then The Search is about people that make changes in their work lives. They're really interesting. Just to dabble, if you want to get a flavor of things, search for on TPH. You can search by Bruce Feiler, Feiler. So one of the people I studied with for my meditation certificate with the Open Heart Project is a chaplain, and she really loves Bruce Feiler, and so it's one of those things where people kind of you cross pollinate different references. So have a fantastic rest of your week. May everyday saints appear in front of you, and maybe let you cut in line so you can get your groceries sooner. And we'll see you on Sunday. So Jeff should be on Sunday, and if you live in Arizona, Sunday is a big day for us, because it's when we suddenly now are back. For us, we're back on Mountain Time. So for everyone else, the clock is like, your clock is the same, but there's a sleep experiment. But yeah, so you're incredibly welcome, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for making it. So yeah, I think everybody on here probably has that email now, but I'll put that in one more time. And then to the folks, I know a couple folks will reach out to me on the recording. Thank you so much for the folks watching the recording in the temporal world. Thank you as well. So yeah, be saintly, everyone. Yeah, that's an excellent thing to offer, Paul. All right. Have a great rest of your week.